117A is going to contain my suspect number 1, dressed in red shirt, white letters on the back, light jeans, black satchel, and AR-15.
And is there another photograph next to that?
Yes, that's going to be the picture from the press conference.
Has there been any additions or deletions to it?
No.
I asked the state to do the 117 be admitted, 17A be admitted. 17. Yes. No, Your Honor. And did you put those two pictures side by side?
Yes, I did.
Why?
I wanted to make a side-by-side comparison.
And when you made that comparison, what did you find?
I found that this was the same person.
Was there any difference between how suspect number 1 appeared when you saw him on that body video and throughout the night on July 4th and what he appeared to look like when he did that press conference with his attorney?
Yes, it appears that suspect number 1 attempted to alter his appearance by cutting off his hair.
Let me ask you, sorry, I'm having a little IT up on the screen, that split photograph that you did confirm that Julian Conley was, in fact, the suspect number 1 from the shooting of Secoriea Turner.
Yes, that is correct.
Prior to this press conference, had any of the videos that you reviewed been released?
Yes, the martyr bus video when suspect number 1 approached the door, and of course the news bulletin that I placed in there.
Had any video of the actual shooting been released?
No, no video of the actual shooting was released.
Had any information, any of those videos, the video of the shooting, been released to Mr. Patterson?
No, no videos were released to the public or anyone. I kept that inside the case file.
And you indicated that Mr. Patterson made statements about what occurred with barricades.
That's correct.
Did you give him that information?
No, I did not give him that information.
Is it fair to say he got that from his client?
Yes, that is fair. He got that information.
Was Julian Conley standing next to Mr. Patterson when he made statements about somebody getting hit by a car and falling down to the ground and start shooting?
Yes, he was standing to the left.
Did Mr. Conley stop him and tell him, no, that's not right?
No, he did not.
Was there any mention of anything about somebody shooting from the Jeep as it passed by and the shots rang out?
No, not at that press conference, no.
And we're going to play States Exhibit 106. He's pulling it up. Prior to this press conference, were you certain who the shooter was as far as it being suspect number 1 that shot against Secoriea Turner?
Prior to the press conference, yes, I was.
What was the only thing he was missing?
That nexus that I needed for him to identify himself from the video.
And at that press conference, did you get that identification in the name for the person that you used to shoot?
I did.
And what was that name?
Julian Conley, as identified as my suspect number 1. Red shirt, white letters, blue jeans, and AR-15.
I think at some point, maybe you had mentioned during the course of the investigation that you were 99.99% sure that suspect 1 was your shooter.
That is correct.
After the press conference, what was that percentage?
110%.
The mother of this 8-year-old girl killed while trying to go to a store is pleading with the public to help find her killer. We spoke exclusively to one of the men who police say is a person of interest in that shooting.
Channel 2's Tom Jones live in Midtown Atlanta. And Tom, the man told you he's comfortable speaking publicly because he says he didn't shoot anyone.
George, that's what Julian Conley says. He admits he was at the scene, says he saw what happened, but says he did not shoot anyone. I attended a news conference on Zoom where 8-year-old Secoriea Turner's parents pleaded with the public for help finding her killer.
Please, y'all help y'all, Lord. I was in here.
The parents
Parents of 8-year-old Secoriea Turner pleaded for help finding the person who shot and killed their daughter.
Somebody say something because Secoriea like that.
Secoriea was in her mother's SUV July 4th on University Avenue. That's when gunmen who police say had illegally barricaded the entrance to the store they were trying to get to opened fire on the car, killing the child. Police have named 2 people as persons of interest. Attorneys for the family says someone knows who they are.
We want the community's help in getting his name.
His name is Julian Conley.
Attorney Jackie Patterson says Julian Conley is the second person of interest police are looking for. He says Conley did not shoot Secoriea.
He was on the scene on that particular day, but he committed no crime whatsoever.
Conley told me he feels terribly sorry about what happened to Secoriea.
But at the end of the day, I had nothing to do with it.
I asked if Patterson will make Conley available to police.
We have nothing to say to the police. We just want the public to know that this man is innocent.
Meanwhile, Secoria's mother says she wants to hear from anyone who knows what happened.
You don't have to call the police, lawyers, nobody. Right me, call me.
And the reward for a conviction in this case is now at $50,000. Patterson says Conley doesn't know the name of the person who shot Secoriea, but he says he can explain how the shooting unfolded. I'll be working on that part of the story for Channel 2 Action News at 6. We're live in Midtown Atlanta. Tom Jones, Channel 2 Action News.
And the reward in this case is now $50,000. All you have to do is call Crime Stoppers at 404-577-8477. You don't have to give your name, and you can still get that reward. Again, that number 404-577-TIPS.
But at the end of the day, I had nothing to do with it.
A man called a person of interest in an 8-year-old girl's murder, saying he's innocent. Only Channel 2 Action News spoke with him today. Channel 2's Tom Jones was us live on this story in Midtown. So Tom, the man said that he was there that night, but he didn't shoot into that car.
That is right, Justin. Julian Conley says he was right there. He told me he had a weapon, but says he didn't fire it one time. He says he was at the scene and didn't know the shooter, and he feels bad that a child lost her life.
I feel terribly sorry about what happened to Secoriea Turner.
19-year-old Julian Conley admits he was at the scene on University Avenue July 4th when 8-year-old Secoriea Turner was shot and killed.
Did you shoot anyone?
No.
Did you open fire that day?
No, sir.
Attorney Jackie Patterson says his client saw himself on television as a person of interest.
The fact that he looked like he's guilty by showing somebody's picture on television, he had to set the record straight.
Police have been searching for the gunman who shot Secoriea near the Wendy's where Rayshard Brooks was killed. Officers say someone shot in Secorea's mother's car after she tried to get through an illegal barricade someone had set up. Patterson says Conley told him a man driving Secorea's mother's car drove through the barricade and hit a man with a rifle.
And when that person fell to the ground, that person got up and started firing at that vehicle.
I asked if he will allow his client to talk to police.
We have nothing to say to the police. We just want the public to know that this man is innocent.
At this news conference, Secorea's parents pleaded for the public to come forward and tell who killed their daughter.
The lady, she had on a black shirt and she was recording. Please come forward.
And I asked police about Conley's version of what happened. This was their response. We would encourage Mr. Conley to contact investigators and speak with them regarding the investigation. At this time, the investigation continues. Now, there is now a $50,000 reward in this case. We're live in Midtown Atlanta. Tom Jones, Channel 2 Action News.
And a lot of interest to get this one right, Tom.
So Detective Shepard, in that press conference, it's indicated that from Jackie Patterson, his client told him what happened.
That is correct.
And from your observation of the videos in this case, let me say from the BP, once that Jeep passed, can you see from the BP what's going on behind the barricades?
You can only see movements and shadows.
From the liquor store, All American Package Store, can you see what's going on behind that barricade?
Same thing from that vantage point, just shadows.
So what's the best vantage point to know what's going on behind the barricade?
The warehouse.
And that's behind the barricades?
Correct.
Now, he admitted to having that AR-15.
That is correct.
Did you ever get that AR-15?
No.
Let me ask you, Detective Shepard. If none of the videos show the defendant shooting as that Jeep passed by, would you have taken out the person? Did you take out warrants?
I did.
What did you take out warrants?
Murder?
If you had never seen him fire that weapon, would you have taken warrants out for him?
Yes.
Why?
He was at the barricade that's party to the crime murder.
What does that mean?
So basically, I can give an example. There's a bank robbery, armed robbery. You have a driver, driver A, and you have passenger, passenger B. Driver A pulls up to the bank, passenger B goes inside the bank. During the course of that aggravated assault and armed robbery, let's say a clerk is killed. Passenger B comes back out, gets inside the vehicle with passenger driver A drives off. Not only did driver A participate, he aided and abetted in the felony, and that resulted in the murder, and he took a substantial step and participated in that crime. So that is party to the crime.
So let's talk about that. But in this case, was the defendant just a party to the crime?
No, the defendant in this case, suspect number one with my red shirt, white letters on the back, light blue jeans, AR-15, is the shooter that killed Secoriea Turner.
Did you have some other individuals at that barricade that could have been charged with party to the crime?
Yes.
Were you ever able to identify them at all?
No.
If you had that identification for them, would you have taken warrants out for them?
Yes, everyone at that barricade, if I was able to identify, would have been charged with murder.
The folks at the barricade.
Correct.
Now we know Mr. McKinney was someone else who took warrants out for him. Did you take warrants out for him for murder?
No, I was able to observe right before the Jeep drove through. He walked away from the barricade.
At that barricade, was the defendant, or your suspect, one that you knew about, was that the only person that fired as that Jeep passed through?
No.
Was there someone else who fired?
Yes.
Do you know what the description of that individual was?
No.
Did you ever get an identification on that person?
No.
After the shooting occurred, through your observation of the video, were there other individuals out there that were still shooting?
Yes, there was another individual down by the tent area. That person discharged a firearm also. This was after the Jeep had already passed through.
And you said down by the tent, and I think you talked about that tent. Whose tent were you? Did you ever find out whose tent that was?
Yes, that's going to be the Williams brothers' tent. I interviewed their mother early in the investigation, who gave me statements that were greatly exaggerated. That was coming from their tent area.
So there was fire from the tent area where the Williams were. And I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 57, I believe.
Okay.
And then did you observe any other fire, gunfire from that area?
So there was a male walking from the barricade after the Jeep passed. He appears to fire a handgun into the street. Then he walks over to the Williams tent.
And State's 57, is that the Williams tent that we're talking about?
Yes.
Do you know the identification of those individuals at that tent?
Yes, that's going to be the Williams brothers.
Do you know them individually by name? Because there's 4 young men in there.
So I don't see the youngest one. I interviewed the oldest one. I believe his name was DeMarco or Demisio Williams.
And who's that in that red shirt kind of back in the shadow?
I'm not sure who that is. I believe that's the mother because she is the one that set the tent up.
March 6 is 129, 131, and 130.
Yes.
How do you recognize those?
So the State Exhibit 129, the male that's walking from the barricade after the Jeep had already passed, this is the subject who fired one round, appears from a handgun into the street.
Let me ask you, are those screen grabs from the video of the shooting
Yeah.
over at University of Florida?
Yes, yes it is.
And that's 131.
Okay, 131 is going to be a screen grab of an individual down at the Williams Brothers tent. He appears to be running from the back of the vehicle out of frame.
And it's facing 180.
180 is going to be down at the Williams tent, and this is going to be appears a male with no shirt on, discharge a firearm into the direction of where the Jeep just drove.
Has there been any deletions, manipulations, or alterations of these to the State Exhibit 129, 131, or 180?
No.
I asked the State Exhibit 129, 131, and 180. No objection. You're not going to have to do this in open action. These are not in evidence. Can I ask you to do that?
That's not just another question. The detective has testified as a conclusion to this investigation. It will ultimately be able to jury to decide whether there's evidence to be tested or
In that male individual that he fired into the street, were you able to determine whether or not that was a handgun or a long gun that individual used to fire into the street?
It appears to be a handgun.
And then the individual that is firing next to the Williams tent, is that individual firing that weapon with a long gun or with a handgun?
That also appears to be a handgun.
And I think that third individual in States 180, I believe that is near the Williams tent, we indicated that had a firearm in his hand. Is that appear to be a long gun or a handgun?
A handgun.
ever able to identify the individual that is walking in the middle of the street that fires that handgun towards the ground?
No.
If you had been able to identify him, what if anything would you have done as part of the investigation?
You've been charged with murder to party to a crime.
And why would you be charged with that?
Because he was at the barricade. He participated in the event of blocking off the barricade, and he was present during the barricade when the Secoriea Jeep was shot multiple times.
And what about the individual standing by the tent firing shot?
Yes.
What would he have been charged with?
He's been charged with aggravated assault also.
And the third individual that has a handgun by his side?
Yes.
What if he was using charge?
The same party to the crime.
And we're going to go back to state exhibit number 2 on the warehouse location. Camera 2, starting at timestamp, I believe it's 9:45 or 9:45. And can a handgun fire a 5.56?
No.
223?
No.
Who is this that we see circling right?
Circling purple, that's the unidentified male who I advised that shot into the ground. And the red arrow is pointing towards a muzzle flash. The blue circle and the red arrow is the gunshot coming from the Williams tent, and a red arrow is pointing towards muzzle flash.
Where does that young man go that just fired off all the shots?
Which one?
On the side, possibly. The one that was circling blue out of me.
Yeah, they all went off screen. He first comes down to the Williams tent, and then they go off screen.
What about a man that was walking down the street and fired a gun into the street? What direction did you go at?
The same direction. Down towards the Williams tent, and then off frame. Circled is the black male, blue shorts. At this point, he's holding a handgun. And the red arrow is pointing towards that.
I'm going to go back to stage 57. Do you see that young man with the blue shorts on that had that handgun that we just observed in the video?
Yes, it looks like it's going to be the male to the right with the blue shorts on and the white shirt.
What were the next steps that you took in the investigation of the shooting and killing of the
So at this point, once I was able to get a confirmation on who my suspect number one identity was, I obtained my warrants.
Did you, besides taking out warrants for murder, were there ever any additional charges that you took out in regard to Julian Conley?
Yeah, I did. I followed up with the McCords, and of course I did a follow-up interview with them. And during that interview, I was able to determine that my suspect number one from the Secoriea Turner shooting was indeed the individual who assaulted him and his wife when he pulled up to the barricade.
How were you able to determine that?
So Mr. McCord advised that when he watched the news, he advised that the male, of course there was two males, one male with no shirt with a shotgun. He said the man that stood at his door dressed in red was in fact my suspect number one dressed in red, white letters, light colored pants with the AR-15.
So he identified the defendant, Julian Conley, based on the press conference?
Correct. He stated that the same male that was in the press conference with his attorney was the same male that stood at his door with the AR-15.
Detective Shepard, how many days did it take you to take out warrants for Julian Conley for murder of Secoriea Turner and aggravated assault against the home?
It was about 9 to 10 days.
Is this a rush to judgment?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
It was 9 days. In between those 9 days, I can say I maybe got a couple of hours of sleep. We're talking to 20-hour days, some days, and it was constant. There's a constant grind, constant drive, all the way up until the point where I was able to get this identification. Matter of fact, I don't think I had an off day for 12 straight days.
During your observation, talk to us about the observation videos from the BP, all the way and the warehouse. How many hours did you spend looking at those videos?
Countless hours. It's hard to put a number on it. At that time, it was like trying to put a puzzle together, literally. And I had to go down and be familiar with each angle, each vantage point, and understand the position of everyone, of course, the area, and then I had to piece it together frame by frame.
And at some point, did you create a video frame by frame for those individuals that you were able to identify being the suspect in one of the times you don't know their name to the suspect?
Correct.
Basically, place exhibit number 2. You made a compilation of movement of suspect 1 and suspect 2.
Yes, it's sort of like when you do a collage, when you do pictures, and from this vantage point, you'll be able to see each angle at the same time.
What video is this from?
This is going to be from the MARTA bus. Again, you see my suspect number 1, the red shirt, white letters, light blue jeans. This is the door of the MARTA bus. My suspect number 1, red shirt, blue jeans, AR-15.
And if I recall correctly, this occurred around 9:15ish?
Correct. And we see the white letters and the do-rag. And here we see the hair coming down from the side. This is from the northeast corner of the package store. Suspect number 1, red shirt, white letters on the back, light blue jeans, AR-15.
And the time stamp on that?
Is 21:40 hours, 9:40. Here we
I'm sorry, how much time did that have passed between the MARTA bus and the assault on the corner?
roughly 25 minutes. Again, my suspect number 1. And see the AR-15 on suspect number 1, red shirt, light pants. These are the McCords. Suspect number 1 entering the frame, red circle. Red shirt, blue jeans. Suspect number 1, AR-15 hanging from the side.
What vantage point is that from?
This is also from the northeast corner of the package store. In that red circle, you see the white letters on the back of his shirt. This vantage point is coming from the BP.
Do you recall what time this is?
It's the same time frame. If you can also notate the white vehicle that is pulling up to the barricade. And if you pause, you see my suspect number 1, white letters on the back, red shirt, light color pants. And this time the white vehicle is turning around.
After the aggravated assault against the McCords, when you see suspect 1 walking back toward the barricade, red shirt,
White letters on the back.
Do you ever see that suspect come back from behind the barricade?
He kind of lingers in that area until the Jeep comes through.
And how much time passed between the incident with the McCords and the Jeep coming through?
I'll say approximately 4 minutes. Okay. So if you notice the white car turning around, the red circle is circling my suspect number 1, white shirt, red shirt, white letters on the back. And also if you look on the top vantage point, this is coming from the back of the warehouse. You see the white car turn around. You also use that as a landmark because you see the red circle, which is my suspect number 1. And also you see the vehicle in the bottom frame driving through, you see it in the top frame.
What's going on now?
So the light blue circle, that's Secoriea Turner's Jeep that's coming through the barricade. And also you see suspect number 1 circling in red. And we never lose sight of him on each vantage point from each camera. Also, on both frames, you see the red circle, blue circle, suspect number 1.
And at this time when the Jeep is coming through, are you able to see
The muzzle flash?
the muzzle flash?
Yes.
Do you recall how many shots that you were able to see being fired into that Jeep as it passed by?
2 muzzle flashes.
And how many defects were on the car?
8 defects.
So you only see 2 shots, but you have 8 defects. Explain that to me.
So as the Jeep is passing Julian Conley, the defects are going to the side of the vehicle, around to the back.
Okay. Members of the jury, as you can see, there was an objection, and I'm just going to remind you of the charge last week. So to the extent that the witness has identified the person standing at the barricade by name as Julian Conley, I'm going to instruct you that that is a decision for you to make and no one else. You've heard the detective testify at length about his investigation and conclusions he's drawn. They are just that. They're his conclusions, and you will decide if there's sufficient evidence to determine that that is, in fact, the defendant at those barricades. And so the objection is sustained. Go ahead.
You're going to place case exhibit number 2 from the raw footage. What are you looking at right now, section?
This is the vantage point from the warehouse.
Are those the other flashes that you discussed?
That is correct.
Did you ever get that AR-15 that your suspect number 1 was firing those shots at? Who killed you at all?
Objection, Your Honor. Ask and answer. What's the purpose of the question?
To follow up on what he did the other 2 guys. What?
Okay, can you rephrase it?
When Julian Conley came to do that press conference, did he admit to having a weapon?
No, he did not.
Did he admit to having a weapon during the press conference?
No, he did not.
Objection, Your Honor. Ask and answer. This line of questioning has been asked and answered multiple times.
If you had recovered a gun in this case in regards to the shooting of Secoriea Turner, what would you have done?
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation. Okay, he can testify as to what he would have done in the investigation, and you've moved on from the question that the objection was based on, and that's appropriate. You can ask what he would have done had he had that, because that's about his investigation.
So if I did receive any type of weapon in this case, of course, once that weapon is received, we will do a test on it, and we will test fire it. We will test the shell casings that come out of that weapon, also the projectile that comes out of that weapon. Both of those will be tested and confirmed through GBI.
When you say confirm, what do you mean confirm?
So we get like what we call preliminary results. Each time a weapon is fired, that firing pin hits a shell casing, it leaves a unique marking. That shell casing will be placed on what we call nibing, and a projectile will also be tested. That's a preliminary test. It's not confirmed until it goes to the GBI, and they're able to confirm the original preliminary investigation.
Is there an examination that you can determine whether or not the shell casings you found at the scene matches the firearm that you made in the scene?
Correct. So if I did recover a weapon, I would be able to tell if the spent shell casing that we found on scene actually came from the firearm that I had in my possession.
So that testing, are you able to determine if it is a murder weapon or excluded as a murder weapon?
Either or. It can be either excluded or confirmed.
Within a 99.9% certainty?
Correct.
Nothing further.
Do you need a minute before cross-examination, or are you ready for cross? You ready for cross?
Good morning, Detective.
Good morning.
Can you see me around that screen?
I can see the top of your head.
So I have a few questions for you. We heard a lot of information about the atmosphere related to what was happening at that time in the city. And you mentioned people were upset about, I guess, some of the different events that took place. Did any of that frustration spill over to people being upset with police?
Yes, absolutely it did.
Okay. And you also mentioned that the location where this incident took place was designated as an autonomous zone.
Yes, that is correct.
When did it become an autonomous zone?
At the point that they took over the street, restricted all traffic, pedestrian or vehicle, and set up areas where they started camping, that's when it became an autonomous zone.
And so by it being an autonomous zone, correct me if I'm wrong, but that means that police weren't patrolling the area, correct?
No, that is incorrect.
Okay. So how were the police, if people had taken over the area, how were police dealing with that?
So I work in the Central Investigation Division. I don't work in the division where they're patrol division. So their patrol patterns or their directives that they were given, I was not privy to that. My total assignment was investigation.
Okay. So does that mean you don't really know what was happening in that area?
Besides them taking over the area, that is correct. As it pertains to directives that was passed down from the chain of command, I have no idea.
And the directive that was passed down to the chain of command involved what?
I work in the Central Investigation Division. I am not aware of any directives that came down as it pertains to that area.
So we got a little bit confused. You just mentioned the directive that was passed down to officers, but you don't know of the directive that was passed down?
That is correct. I'm not aware of any directives or any patrol patterns that was directed for that area.
But you said people were upset with police. Was there like pressure on the police? How do you know that people were upset with police?
So about a month before this particular Wendy's burned down, we had the George Floyd riots, which had affected Atlanta. After that, we had a couple other incidents leading up to Rayshard Brooks, which resulted in its own riot in that area, which burned down the Wendy's.
Okay. And there were people camping out in Wendy's regularly, correct?
After the area was taken over, after it was burned down, that is correct.
Okay. And you say that the area was taken over. But isn't it true that city council and various political figures went to the area to speak with the individuals who were there?
Objection, cause for speculation, Your Honor.
Can you restate the question?
Were there attempts to get the people to disperse from that area?
Again, I work in the Central Investigation Division. I'm not aware of any patrol patterns, any directives, any city councilmen. I'm not aware of anything that affected that area.
So that means you don't know if anybody took over the area.
No, that is incorrect. The area was taken over and set up as an autonomous zone.
Okay, we'll move on from that. You mentioned that there were barricades there. If you're not familiar with the area, you don't know when those barricades were placed there, do you?
The barricades were placed in the area when the Wendy's burned down, and the barricades was placed around the Wendy's parking lot because the Wendy's had burned down.
And where'd you get that information from?
So once the Wendy's burned down, of course, watching the news, watching social media, you can see that there was also obviously barricades placed around the Wendy's parking lot.
Okay. And you mentioned that you had hours of footage that you watched in relation to this incident, correct?
That is correct.
But you don't have any footage showing anybody bringing those barricades to that location?
Bringing barricades to that area a month prior to the shooting.
Can you have the witness be responsive to the questions asked?
Okay, well, just do your best to respond. If you need to explain your answer, let her know that.
Yes, ma'am. No, it's impossible for me to have video footage from the incident that occurred at that time when barricades was exactly pinpointed and blocked off on that street. That is impossible. My incident occurred on July the 4th. That area was set up as an autonomous zone a month prior.
And you mentioned Rayshard Brooks. You know when that happened?
I want to say it's about a month prior to July 4th. It was in June, and it was maybe a month after the George Floyd incident.
And you said you got some of your information from the news. You know when Rayshard Brooks' funeral was?
I have no idea.
So it would surprise you to know that the barricades were up in June during Rayshard Brooks' funeral.
If you say so, I have no idea. I can't confirm that.
At what time did you start watching video of this incident?
So the time frame that I got, of course, I always start when the 911 call is made, and I go a couple hours before.
How far before did you go?
Let's say the incident happened about 21:46 hours. I try to get a video a couple hours before.
How many hours? 2 hours? 3 hours?
A couple hours means 2.
Thank you. And during those hours that you watched before the incident, were you able to identify how many people came to the location? location?
As far as the participants that's in the autonomous zone,
How many people were in the area of the incident?
I have no idea.
Do you know how many people were in the area of the incident that had firearms?
I would say approximately maybe a dozen or so.
And where are you getting that number from?
It's approximate. It's a guesstimation
Based on what information?
based off the video that I watched.
Okay, so you counted individuals from the video to determine how many people had firearms.
I made an estimate from watching the video of how many participants will walk around with firearms. That is correct.
The individuals that you saw with firearms, did they arrive in vehicles?
I have no idea.
You didn't see anybody get off a bus with a firearm? You watched hours of footage.
I did not see anybody get off a MARTA bus with a long rifle.
Okay. Did you see people walk up with firearms to the location in the 2 hours before the incident?
From the incident, what I viewed, you see multiple people walking up and down the street freely with handguns and firearms. That is correct.
Okay. But you don't necessarily know how they arrived to that location.
That is correct.
And you mentioned being the lead investigator. When do your duties start as the lead investigator?
As soon as we received that call that we've been advised that a person has been killed, I assumed duties as a lead detective.
Okay. And the first place that you went as a result of that was
The crime scene.
which was where?
So because we had the crime scene itself, the autonomous zone, was too dangerous for police to go inside, and it had to be secured. As I stated before in my testimony, we had the staging area at University and Metropolitan, and that's where we staged at before the area was secure.
So the crime scene area was University and Metropolitan?
Crime scene area was Pryor Street, 1238 Pryor Street.
What's the first thing you did when you got there?
Got to my staging area or the actual crime scene. So by the time we was able to get to the crime scene, of course, it was secure. I observed people that was living in the tents, sweeping in the area. We instructed them to stop. We immediately broke off in patterns and started looking for evidence and trying to locate evidence.
How many officers were at the scene when you arrived?
I don't know approximate number of officers, but it is documented in our case file.
Which officer secured the scene before you got there?
So the area was secured by TFOs, our tactical field officers, and that area had to be secured because of safety issues.
And what does it mean when the area is secure?
So that means the area needs to be secured. That means it's unsafe for detectives and anyone to come in and actually work the crime scene.
So that means that individuals in that area are removed from that area?
That means if individuals in that area, if they're creating the area to be unsafe, yes, they are removed from that area. And that area is secured, and it's secured and roped off for evidentiary purposes.
So there shouldn't have been anybody sweeping any streets or moving any evidence because it was secure, correct?
That is correct, but see, what you have to understand, inside this autonomous zone, there was a group that was not from Atlanta. This group, what do you want to call them, Antifa, they were hardcore protesters. This group would not move, and they were inside the parking lot, inside the private parking lot of the burned down Wendy's. So that's a totally different group from the suspect number one and his co-defendants. So that group did stay. They were not removed, but they were instructed to stay inside of their tents.
And what were those individuals wearing?
I don't know what they were wearing. They were, can definitely tell they were not from the area.
So let me ask you that. How do you know they weren't from the area?
So I'm from Atlanta. I grew up in Atlanta. I know the demographic of that area. This group of protesters did not fit that demographic in that area.
So let's go into that. What's the demographic of the individuals that you say weren't from the area?
So these were mostly white males and females, and they were not from, like I said, that part of town, and they were not from Atlanta.
So how many of them did you arrest for tampering with evidence?
Objection, Your Honor, this one not clear what the relevance is to the shooting and the death of Secoriea Turner.
Okay, explain your question.
Your Honor, the question is in reference to the information the officer gave about people sweeping up the area. Sweeping up the area, on direct, he was asked whether or not he saw anybody committing any criminal offenses on the video. I'm asking him about the people that he's saying were still in the area sweeping up the crime scene. I'm asking him what steps were taken to address those individuals who modified the crime scene.
I'll allow it.
Instructions were given to those individuals to stop, and they stopped.
my question was, how many people did you arrest for modifying the crime scene?
Instructions were given, and they was
Okay, were there any arrests as a result of that?
no, Your Honor.
Okay.
You said that your job as a lead detective is to collect evidence, correct?
Identify and collect evidence. That's correct.
But you didn't actually pick up the evidence yourself, correct?
That is correct. We have a crime scene tech that is trained and with that procedure of collecting evidence.
And had you watched the video prior to the crime scene personnel arriving on the scene?
Are we referring to the moment of the crime scene? Which part are you referring to?
The videos that tell you what took place, had you observed those before the crime scene techs arrived at the scene?
No, that's impossible. The video hadn't been collected yet. We're still doing our preliminary stages of working the crime scene.
So at that point, when crime scene personnel arrived, you didn't know where the crime scene took place?
No, just like any other crime scene, we don't know where evidence is. That's why we break off and we do a canvass of the area to identify items that need to be collected and identify items of evidence.
So when you got there, were the barricades still there?
Yes, I do believe there are some barricades that were still there.
Okay. Were those barricades blocking the street when you got there?
I'm not sure if they were obstructing the street, but I do remember observing some barricades in the street.
Okay. So where in your report does it document how you determine the area of the crime scene?
So that report is going to be made by a crime scene tech unit. They would come on the scene. Like I said, we do a canvass of the area, we identify the evidence, and we start to document it and collect it. I also instructed an investigator of mine to do what we call a crime scene sketch. And at that point, he is responsible for documenting the crime scene along with the crime scene tech.
So how do you determine where the crime scene tech should focus?
So everything is done simultaneously at the same time. So as we're walking and identifying evidence, it's my job as a lead detective to walk along with the crime scene tech, start to identify evidence, along with the person I instruct to be in charge of the crime scene sketch to also document it. Also, before we conclude that crime scene, we do what we call a debriefing. And in that debriefing, I go over line by line the pieces of evidence that is collected. And that crime scene sketch is given to me and put in a case file.
So if you hadn't observed the video prior to the crime scene tech arriving, you don't actually know what happened or what took place where. Is that correct?
That is incorrect. We go to crime scenes all the time and we don't have video. Video is only a luxury sometimes in some of these crime scenes. So we still process the scene as we have it without the video.
So the day of this incident was a holiday, correct?
That's July 4th, correct?
Isn't it true that you believe some of the shell casings found could have been part of the celebration that's happening at that location?
That is absolutely a possibility. 4th of July in the city of Atlanta, there's gunshots everywhere. So it's important for us to be meticulous on how we identify evidence and where we collect evidence. That is correct.
You don't know how many of the shell casings that were located were connected to the celebration that was happening?
That is incorrect. Once we collect all the evidence and we start comparing to the actual crime scene as investigation leads from the preliminary stage and ongoing, I identified we had 7 spent shell cases that were 5.56, and as I said, as investigation goes on, a 5.56 projectile was taken out of Secoriea Turner's back.
And when did you find that out?
During the autopsy.
And when did you receive the autopsy report?
So the autopsy report is never done within a couple of days, but it's my job as a lead detective to work hand in hand with the investigator and the doctor so I can get those preliminary findings to help aid in my investigation. Their report is not signed and sealed. It takes time for their report to get done. And there's also a priority list that they have because they have other decedents in their possession that they also have to do reports.
So when did you actually get the report?
That report is going to be documented in the case file as well.
So is it accurate to say that you didn't get the report until 2 weeks after the incident?
So that could be correct. That is correct. But what's important is the information that I get in those first days of investigation from the medical examiner, which aided me in my investigation.
So where in your report does it document when you actually got the information from the medical examiner?
So that report is going to be available inside the report. If you look at the top of the medical examiner report, it's going to state that the doctor who signed off on the report and the date that it was completed.
But that medical examiner's report doesn't say when they talked to you, is that correct?
That's a medical examiner report. That's correct. It's just documenting the actual injuries to Secoriea Turner.
Correct. So you created your own report that detailed what you did as a lead investigator, correct?
That is correct.
And so So you would have documented the moment or the date that you got information from the medical examiner, correct?
That's not always true. As we get information from the medical examiner, the investigator, as I said, I know that it's going to be documented in the case file. So if they give me information, let's say where the injury is, what type of projectile is coming out, that's important. Me documenting as I go on, as I speak to them, is irrelevant because I know it's going to be documented inside the report.
So when you were collecting evidence from the scene, you didn't have a medical examiner report, correct?
That is correct. Only thing we have is what we can collect from the scene.
And you hadn't watched video when you were collecting evidence, correct?
That is correct.
So you didn't know what you were looking for, correct?
Absolutely, that is correct.
Let's talk about the information you did get immediately prior to receiving the medical examiner's report. You talked to witnesses, correct?
No, we call witnesses who actually cooperate. I spoke to multiple individuals who was adamant about not cooperating and not going on record for anything.
Who was Investigator McClure?
Investigator McClure is the detective who was in charge of the crime scene.
So Investigator McClure was at the scene before you?
Again, the area was roped off, so we all got it at the same time because it had to be secured by TFO units.
Did you have a conversation with Investigator McClure at the scene?
Yes. I work hand in hand with the detectives on the scene along with the crime scene checks.
Did you also, do you know somebody named Mike Sprinkle?
Yes.
How do you know Mike Sprinkle?
Mike Sprinkle works in the district attorney's office, Fulton County.
Did you have a conversation with Mike Sprinkle the day of the incident?
I believe so.
In reference to evidence that you discussed on the day of the incident with McClure and Mr. Sprinkle, were you told that somebody was live
Objection,
streaming?
hearsay, non-public hearsay.
It does call for hearsay. Is there an exception?
Your Honor, this is actually not for the purpose of trying to establish what's actually, it's not for the fact, for the matter, it's not being presented to determine whether or not it's for the truth of the matter asserted. It's basically to determine what the officer knew at the time he made his decisions about how to proceed with the investigation based on the information he said.
No, I would just say she asked me to be based on information, but not ask for the information. But what's the next step to the investigation, but not going to what somebody else can do.
Your Honor, we're actually dealing with him on cross-examination. He is the lead detective. He wasn't present at the scene. The only way he knows what happened is what people told him.
Okay, a little more context. Will you guys approach?
So on the day of the incident, before you watched the surveillance video, were you made aware or of any other videos that may have been created at the time of the incident?
Are you referring to surveillance videos?
No.
What videos are you referring to?
Any other videos that were made contemporaneous with the event by people who were present?
Again, are you referring to surveillance videos?
I am not.
Okay, no, I'm not aware of any other surveillance videos except the ones I collected.
I did not say surveillance videos, sir. Are you aware of other videos that were taken by people who were at the scene?
I'm unaware of any other videos that were taken at the scene. If I was aware of it, it would be included in the case file.
Who was ATL Hill?
I have no idea who is that a witness?
While you were doing your investigation, were you made aware that there were individuals at the scene dressed in all black?
Yes.
Were you aware that those individuals have been described as being dressed like bounty hunters?
The only description that I got of males dressed in all black as dressed as bounty hunters was from Jerrion Turner, Secoria's mom.
So that's a yes.
Yes, that's the only description I got from anybody.
Were you provided pictures of individuals dressed in all black that were identified to you as the shooter?
So if you're referring to the picture that was given to me by Mr. Omar Ivory, he did provide me with a picture with two individuals circling in red, stating that these are the shooters, and he stated that he got that from second and third hand information from the internet that somebody provided him. He provided to me
So
that.
the answer is yes, you did get a picture.
Objection, Your Honor, I would ask you to allow him to finish his answer.
Were you finished?
No, ma'am, I had.
Okay, you
just
can
a
finish your
couple.
answer. Go ahead.
So he provided that picture to me, not stating that he is saying that these are the shooters, but he provided the picture saying that this is what was told to him is the shooters. So it's unconfirmed information, social media, wherever he got that from online.
And so as the lead detective, are you the person responsible for confirming information that's provided to you?
Absolutely. As a lead detective, especially in a case like this, we get so much information. It's like drinking water from a water hose, a fire hose. So we take all the information, no matter where it's coming from, and we put it in the case files. I make a mental note of it. And if that I'm able to confirm later on through the investigation, whether I corroborate through witness statements or the evidence, if that information is in fact valid. So the information that he provided was placed into the case file and documented.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Can you look at this picture and tell me if you recognize it?
Yes, this is the exact photo that he gave to me.
What do you see in it?
I see 5 individuals dressed in black, all carrying rifles, and I see a male dressed in a white T-shirt standing in the middle. 2 males are circled in red, 2 arrows coming down, and
Would you guys step out for just a minute? Okay, I'm sorry to send them out, but I just don't have enough context. So who made the marks on the exhibit?
Your Honor, I believe the witness testified that that's how he received the picture. Whether or not he did any further investigation about whether or not Omar is the one who circled the images or put the writing at the bottom, this witness is the one who would tell us more information about it because it was provided to him.
Okay, I do think that directly calls for hearsay, but what do you say?
I agree, Your Honor. I think Omar was asked about it. Omar says he had no idea who made the writing of Omar. So we don't know where that information came from. And I think Detective Shepard has indicated they were receiving thousands of social media information about it with no identity of who these people are giving that information. So put something in there then to suggest that the true eyewitnesses in this case is making identification of those individuals as being the person that shot and killed Secoriea Turner is just not accurate.
Your Honor, this is the information. I just asked the witness if he's the person who's tracking down or confirming the accuracy of the information that's provided to him. He said he is. He said he received the picture that was already marked when he got it. He was the person who's responsible for verifying that information. And we don't know whether or not he made the circles, whether or not Omar made the circles, but asking him about it is how we get that information.
Did you make the circles?
no, ma'am. And Mr.
Can I see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Omar stated that he received that picture as is. He didn't make the circles.
Okay. And so if you were asked if you were able to determine, if you looked into and were able to determine the source of the writing on that picture, what would your answer be?
I did. And so as a detective, we receive hundreds, especially in a case like this, hundreds of tips, hundreds of information. I get it, I store it. But what if I took a step on making arrests on every tip I got, then I'd be arresting hundreds of people. So when I get that information, I have to corroborate it by following up with more information. As more information comes in, I can follow up and corroborate it and see if these are actually the individuals. And I follow the leads. My leads did not lead me to these 2 individuals. So I did what I usually do as a homicide detective. I document it and I put it in the case file.
Okay, you can ask him about what he did based on the photograph, but don't go into anything written on the photograph because that is hearsay. Okay, they can come back in.
reference to the statements that the officer just gave about Omar being able to identify the individuals that he says were the shooters, he actually recorded his interview with Omar, and we would like to play that for impeachment purposes.
All right, for the jury.
Okay, let's take that up over lunch. You have it now? Okay. Is it, you guys have that?
I mean, they provided it to us, Your Honor.
Do it that time, of course.
Are you going to follow up on that question, or are you trying to play your exhibit? Okay. Before we play the exhibit, let's make sure everybody's on the same page. Is the exhibit in evidence already, or it was just provided in discovery? Okay, so we're going to have to answer that outside the jury's presence, probably. Okay, but go ahead and follow up with that.
So the picture that you have in front of you, I think I was asking you, where you got that picture?
So the driver of the Jeep Cherokee, when it was shot by suspect number 1, provided me this picture, but that he received from social media.
And under what circumstances did he give you that picture?
In an attempt to try to help and assist. He said that he was multiple.
Don't go into anything that he said.
Yes, ma'am.
No hearsay.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you face to face when he provided you that picture?
I was.
Can you describe the individuals that you see in that picture?
I would object to going into the content of the picture because it's not in evidence. He did it earlier, but it was not appropriate. It was not
It's not in evidence.
It's not in evidence.
Your Honor, the witness stated that he provided that picture. He said that he's responsible for following up on information that's provided to him. In terms of what he did after receiving the picture, we have to know what the picture says that would make him take the steps into the next.
Okay, we can't go into the contents of the picture if it's not in evidence, so you have to try to lay a foundation to put it in evidence.
Your Honor, we'll return to the picture.
Okay.
So, you said you received several tips with people trying to assist. Did you receive tips telling you that the people were dressed in all black who were responsible for the shooting?
Objection. Cause for hearsay. She kept asking like the descriptions and asking her. I don't even know who she's talking about. They're reading that information.
Okay, he testified previously that the victim's mother gave a description that the jury's already heard repeatedly. You can go into that because she testified, but if it's descriptions from other people who aren't witnesses, there's going to be a proper hearsay objection, I assume. I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Did you set up a tip line to assist?
Yes, there was a Crime Stoppers tip line that's available for every homicide that occurs in the city.
And how is that tip line used?
So if you want to remain anonymous, you're able to call this tip line, and it is a strict anonymous tip line. You can give your information. Your name and date of birth is not, or phone number is not recorded, and you're given some type of PIN number, and that's the PIN number that you go by. And that is kept under strict confidence to the point that we don't even get that information as detectives.
And what do you do with that information that you receive from that tip line?
So with any tip that we get in any case, I document it, I make a mental note of it, and as my case progresses, if anything that's fruitful comes up and that can corroborate that tip, I will follow up on that. And most of the time, the tips, I will follow up on those tips as well.
Did you get any descriptions from those tips?
So the content of the Crime Stoppers,
Going into the picture, you don't know who gave those tips. You just said it's anonymous. I mean, it could be anyone that gives false tips. I don't think it's appropriate to ask this detective if they know they tips and nothing to do with it.
I didn't ask him who gave him the tips. I asked him did he get descriptions from the tips. He's described what he's done with regards to his investigation. I'm trying to flesh out what he's done with regards to his investigation.
Okay, I think you can ask if he received descriptions. I don't know if there's a foundation right now or whether it would be admissible right now, given what you've already gotten from him about what the description was.
So my question was, did he get descriptions?
so the content of the Crime Stoppers, of course, is anonymous. And if I receive information and if that information does not lead to any fruitful investigation, speaking about it in open court or speculating on that is not fair to the tipster, and it compromises integrity of the entire process of being anonymous. So the tips that I do receive that do become fruitful, they are documented in the case file. The tips that I don't receive, They are not documented in the case file.
What's the NFAC?
I have no idea what that acronym is.
Are you familiar with a group called Not Fucking Around Coalition?
I vaguely heard that acronym, but I wasn't familiar with the acronym, but I heard the name.
Isn't it true that you asked Mr. McKinney if he was a Not Fucking Around Coalition?
Objection to complication.
Remember, this is in reference to what he asked, not what somebody else said. I'm asking him what he asked.
He's asking what Ms. McKinney responded to.
I didn't ask that.
Did you ask anything about that?
Did I
That
ask?
group? Did you ask anyone anything about that group?
So during my investigation, of course, during my canvas, I heard the name, not the acronym, come up a couple of times. So it's not unusual for me to ask anybody that I'm interviewing about this group, because that is part of my investigative leads to follow up on information that I get. And when I follow up on the information, it becomes fruitful, then I keep going with it.
Okay, you can ask that question. You're satisfied? Okay.
So, what do you know about the Not Fucking Around Coalition?
I don't think I've heard that name since 2020.
What do you know about the coalition?
Absolutely nothing.
So you don't know that they were all black?
I believe description from the 2020 and during my investigation that these guys were all black, but I wasn't familiar with them before, and I haven't heard of them since then.
So you don't know that they were in Atlanta at this time of your incident?
Again, my answer, I had no idea who these people were before, and I had no idea that they were in Atlanta. I'm in the investigation division. I'm not aware of that type of intelligence. That's a totally different unit.
You mentioned in your direct examination that you made flyers to disseminate to the public. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And on those flyers, you put a description, correct?
Correct.
Isn't it true that your flyers described people wearing all black just like bounty hunters?
That is correct.
Isn't it true you passed out 400 of these flyers?
In total, 400. That is correct, approximately.
Has you watched the video of the incident before you passed out those flyers?
I did, and once I received that information of people dressed like bounty hunters, I've looked on camera and see if I can find anybody dressed like bounty hunters in all black. And indeed, I did see several individuals dressed in all black looking like bounty hunters. I wish that was my investigative step. I've seen it. Of course, when it got dark, I was not able to identify anyone.
When it got dark, I mean the time of day?
Correct.
And what time was that?
The time of the incident, 21:46 hours, when suspect one fired his multiple rounds AR-15 into the inside of Jeep of Secoriea Turner. Suspect one wearing red shirt, white letters, light blue pants, AR-15.
How many individuals at the location on the night of the incident who were celebrating the 4th of July were dressed in items that you didn't document?
Can you be more specific on your question?
Sure. Did you create a list, some type of catalog of what people were wearing at the scene?
Not a written list, but mentally I was able to notate that, of course, multiple males dressed in all dark colors, black. Of course, suspect one stood out with his bright red shirt, white letters, light blue jeans, and AR-15. He was the only one wearing this particular outfit. And that made him stand out from everyone in that barricade and out there that night.
And so the fact that you said he stood out, he wasn't wearing a mask, was he?
No mask, that's correct.
He didn't seem like he was trying to hide his face, did he?
That is correct. He was not trying to hide his face.
In reference to other individuals that you saw in that video, were they wearing masks?
Some individuals were wearing masks.
Clothing. Were some individuals wearing kind of like vests, like police wear?
Can you be more specific?
Body armor, some type of protective, what would be considered Kevlar vest, some kind of vest over their clothes.
To look like a bounty hunter? Yes.
How many of those did you see?
There's a couple of them.
Two?
Two to three. Approximately, I think a safe number would be 2 to 4.
And were they carrying firearms?
Yes.
So, when you saw them on camera, they were carrying firearms, dressed like bounty hunters, correct?
Correct. When you see the MARTA bus driving into the area, you see multiple individuals dressed just as she described, pointing their rifles at the bus.
What steps did you take to identify those individuals?
I took every step, the same step I was able to try to identify a suspect. Number one, wearing a red shirt, white letters, blue jeans, and AR-15. However, I was unable to identify those other subjects because they wore darker clothing, and I was not able to identify them.
Did you put those pictures on the news?
No, we only put pictures on the news where I can get some fruitful information. Putting a picture of a blob of just black is not going to do anything for the case.
So you saw individuals dressed in all black. You received descriptions of people wearing all black who were the shooters. They had firearms, but you didn't put their picture on.
That is correct. Again, we don't put pictures on the news or we can't possibly get any identification. It makes absolutely no sense to do so.
You mentioned that crime scene text comes to the location based on, is it you calling them, or how do you get the crime scene text?
Well, it depends. The responsibility of the patrol officer when he arrives on scene, of course, a regular scene, not a scene such as this nature. The first is make it safe, and if he's able to do so, he's making it safe. He's going to secure the area. He's going to request additional units if he needed. They're going to put up crime scene tape. They will extend the barrier if they need to. At that point, they will notify crime scene text and also homicide if it's a homicide, and let us know and give us a preliminary what they observed on scene.
So, did you know which crime scene text was going to reach you out at the location?
Usually when we raise crime scene text, like I said, that night we had a lot of shootings. So it just depends on who shows up. I believe that particular night, crime scene text Hollis responded.
And remind me, what did Hollis do?
So again, when a crime scene tech arrives on scene, either me or the detective that I instruct to take care of my crime scene will go through the crime scene with the crime scene tech, identify markers, identify leads that need to be documented, leads such as evidence. That evidence will be documented with a marker, and we do a walkthrough, we photograph. As we go, we may find more. That process continues. I've been on crime scene, we had 200-300 markers. It just depends on the crime scene.
So, you're in a Pharaoh scan?
I'm not familiar with a Pharaoh scan in the Atlanta Police Department, but I believe you're referring to. I'm not familiar with that, no ma'am.
Okay, so you're not. How long have you been a homicide detective?
I've been a detective 15 years. I've been a homicide 11.
So you're not familiar with the fact that Atlanta Police Department uses a technology that measures the whole crime scene review.
I work 500 crime scenes in the city of Atlanta, and we have never used a Pharaoh scan. We document our crime scene sketches by hand, the old school fashioned way.
So it wouldn't surprise you that there was a Pharaoh scan done in this case?
It wouldn't surprise me if they requested it from the GBI, and that's not unusual either. We request crime scenes of this nature. We do ask outside agencies to come in, so that's not unusual.
Okay. And so, but you as the lead detective, you didn't ask for a Pharaoh scan?
No, me as the lead detective, again, I asked the lead of one of my co-workers, Detective McClure, to document the crime scene with a crime scene sketch. That's what was documented, and that was what I put in the case file. As far as a Pharaoh scan, if a different agency did that, that's, like I said, that's not unusual.
So, and I've never been a police officer, as a lead detective, are you not the person that is kind of like running the show of gathering all the evidence and following up on whatever needs and doing whatever's necessary to solve this case?
Well, as a lead detective, absolutely. It's also my job to delegate jobs to other detectives, because a crime scene such as this nature is very difficult to work. So I delegate jobs, in particular this case, to Detective McClure, so he can sketch and work my crime scene.
So, did Detective McClure give you any information about a Pharaoh scan being done on this crime?
Again, I don't have any notation in my report that a Pharaoh scan was completed.
So you don't even know how a Pharaoh scan would have been helpful in this case?
I mean, through deduction and reasoning, where you're using it, I'm sure it's some type of crime scene scan. I've heard of a scan used by the GBI. I know what the name is called a Pharaoh scan, but you set the scan up and they do scan the crime scenes. We don't have that type of technology because, like I said, we do it the old school way. We sketch by hand.
So it's safe to say that you didn't review said Pharaoh scans that was created in this case?
That's incorrect. It's safe to say that I reviewed my case file, and in my case file there's a folder for crime scene tech, crime scene sketch. And in my folder for crime scene sketch, there's a handwritten crime scene sketch completed by the detective that I delegated that information to. So my case file is complete.
So my question was, you did not review Pharaoh scan in this case?
That is incorrect again. I have no knowledge of a Pharaoh scan being inside of my case file. So there was no federal scan for me to review.
So if there was a feral scan in your case file, you would know about it, correct?
Absolutely.
So if you have a feral scan to show you for this case file, you could confirm that it's part of this case file.
Now, I would suggest you can contact the detective who operated the federal scan to come in and confirm his work with the federal scan. I can only confirm the work that came under me, which was a crime scene sketch. So if you have a federal scan, please contact that detective, bring that detective in so he can testify to his federal scan.
So, okay, let's go to something. The pictures that were taken of this crime scene, did you review those?
Yes.
You know who took all of those pictures?
On the crime scene, Detective Hollis.
Okay. You know other crime scene techs took pictures other than Detective Hollis?
That is correct. While the Jeep that was shot by suspect number 1 wearing the red shirt, white letters, light blue jeans, AR-15, that Jeep was at Atlanta Medical Center. I requested a crime scene tech to respond to that location and photograph that vehicle as is. So that is correct. Also, the vehicle was transported to Atlanta Police Homicide case, was secured. A search warrant was obtained for that, and another crime scene tech responded to that scene and processed the actual crime scene of the vehicle. That's with the GSR and the photographs. That is correct. So there'll be multiple crime scene techs on homicide investigations, and that is not unusual.
Okay, so is it accurate that 2 different crime scene techs took pictures of the same Jeep?
That is very accurate, correct.
Is it also accurate that a video was made of the same Jeep that you had already had pictures taken of, correct?
That is correct. Detective Bender responded to Atlanta Medical Center. He also documented the Jeep with video. So we have video and crimes photographs.
Okay. At what point in your investigation did you review the photos from all of those crime scene techs?
As soon as the photos became available, I started reviewing them.
Do we have a date for that?
It was within 3 or 4 days.
What was the purpose of having 2 different crime scene techs and I believe a detective take a video of the same?
This is the murder of an 8-year-old child. You cannot have enough documentation. So if I would have had 10 crime scene techs documented, then I would have. But we're going to document everything, and we're going to make sure we document it as is.
So, how many detectives reviewed the videos that you said you watched?
I'm not sure how many detectives. I'm the lead detective. I reviewed all the videos.
Multiple pictures were taken, and we can't have enough people taking pictures. But you're the only person who watched the video?
I think you're confusing the two. The crime scene photos were taken by multiple crime scene techs. Yes, multiple crime scene techs. The video that was secured from the security videos, I personally started going through them because that is my job as a lead detective.
So, you know that multiple people took pictures, but you don't know how many people looked at the video?
Again, I'm the lead detective. I reviewed all the video from the raw footage, the security videos that's collected.
Okay. You also mentioned pictures taken of the Jeep and an evidence cage. What is that?
That's what we call our crime scene cage. Anytime there's a crime committed, there's a vehicle in question, it is secured in our police cage. Once it's secured under lock and key, we obtain a search warrant to go process that vehicle.
And then what happens to it?
Well, so once it's finished, completed being processed, and once we get everything we need from it, that vehicle is then removed from the cage.
And when was this vehicle removed from the cage?
I don't know the exact date it was removed from the cage, but it is documented in the case file.
You mean the case file being the file that you created?
Correct.
So the lead supplement or your lead investigative report?
It's either in the lead supplement report, it's documented in a warrant that was obtained for that date that the search was completed.
Report here. Can you look at it and tell me when that vehicle was removed?
So that report is not going to be in this case file. It's not be in this lead supplement. Again, it's going to be in the date that the warrant was obtained. And I believe that warrant was obtained by Detective Barry.
So being the lead detective, that date is listed in your report.
Again, that date is documented when a search warrant was completed. So either way, it's going to be documented in the case file. It's going to be memorialized some type of way, whether either sit in lead supplement or some type of warrant. In this case, it's a search warrant.
So the dates that search warrants are obtained are not in your report?
The date that the search warrant is obtained is in the report.
And the date that the search warrant is executed, not in your report?
The date that the search warrant is obtained and executed is going to be documented in the case file. If not in my lead supplement, it'll be in a report for the warrants.
So as the lead detective, aren't you responsible for compiling all the information?
Absolutely. So everything was compiled, it was put in the case file, and it is documented.
So the case file is not the report that you create?
What you just put on the table, ma'am, that's just a lead supplement. That is not the entire case file. If you go through the case file and go through the section that says warrants, you can see and observe when the warrant was taken out for this particular vehicle.
But you don't remember that?
I don't need to. It's memorialized and documented with a warrant in the case file.
Okay. So in terms of being the lead detective, you talk to people and you take steps to try to solve this case. What does your report contain?
My report is pretty much like a roadmap, what would say a lead supplement. And that roadmap is going to tell you how I got from point A, B, C, all the way to Z. Whether that case is closed or not, particularly if it's not closed and it turns into a cold case, a detective can pick it up whether it's 5 years or 20 years later and be able to follow that roadmap all the way through. Within that roadmap, if you look at my lead supplement, it's going to notate everything that I did and which particular folder was placed in. So that's going to give that detective, also me, if I need to pick this case up later, where I need to find such documents.
So when you talk to witnesses, you document what information you get from them that helps you with your investigation?
Absolutely. I document the date and the time, and it is recorded. It is placed in the case file, and it's documented in my lead supplement, the date that I talked to them, the time, and I also make a notation that it is not verbatim. It is only a summary of that statement.
Okay. So how many times did you speak to Mr. McCord about what happened?
I believe 2 times.
And isn't it true that he told you the person who came to his door had a shotgun?
Correct. Also, suspect number 1 wearing a red shirt, white letters on the back, light pants, AR-15, and a satchel. He advised that that male was standing at his door. He identified that male from the news.
Didn't he tell you that the person standing at his door with an AR-15 was a dark-skinned male?
Mr. McCord stated that the male that was standing at his door was suspect number 1, wearing a red shirt, white letters on the back, AR-15, light blue jeans, and that was standing on the news beside his lawyer. The news that we just watched earlier. That's who Mr. McCord identified as standing at his door making threats. Suspect number 1.
Isn't it true that you told Mr. McCord that you would show him a lineup? That was the next step, was for you to show him a lineup?
Absolutely. That was after the first time I spoke with him. I absolutely did.
Where is that in your report that you went back and showed him a lineup?
So there was no lineup shown. There's no need for a lineup because he identified him from the news. At that point, showing him a lineup would be suggestive. Why would I show a lineup when he's already identified him on the news? That makes no sense.
So the person that you're saying was identified was the person you put on the news?
Suspect number 1 who identified himself on the news wearing a... Yes, suspect number 1 who identified himself on the news wearing a red shirt, white letters on the back, blue jeans, AR-15, black satchel. He identified himself on the news. He made the nexus between him and what's on the news. That is correct.
Isn't it also correct that on direct examination, you stated that the assault that Mr. McCord endured happened off camera?
No, that is incorrect. The assault that happened to Mr. McCord is plainly viewed what we already viewed on the cameras. Suspect number 1 was circled. Suspect number 2 was circled. The first interaction is right off camera. But as he pulled into the parking lot, we plainly see suspect number 1, red shirt, white letters, blue jeans, AR-15, black satchel, walking into the parking lot, point his AR-15 at the couple as they retreated and tried to leave, along with his co-defendant, suspect number 2.
Would it surprise you to know that Mr. McCord couldn't identify anybody other than the person with the shotgun who was standing at his window?
So I can't speak to what I'm surprised. I can only speak to what Mr. McCord told me and what his statement provided to me. If he provided another statement at another time to another investigator, I can't testify to that. I can only testify the way he testified to me and how he identified suspect number 1, red shirt, white letters, blue jeans, AR-15, black satchel.
Did you listen to Mr. McCord's 911 call?
I did.
So you heard him in the 911 call say, I had a shotgun in my face.
That is correct.
You don't have any video showing Julian in the same frame as Mr. McCord.
So you're referring to your client, are we referring to suspect number one, red shirt, white letters, blue jeans?
The video that was shown that you referred to. Mr. McCord is not in that video when you see the person in a red shirt. Is that correct?
That is incorrect. You see the Mr. McCoys in the parking lot of the liquor store. You see suspect number one and suspect number two walk into the parking lot, pointing their firearms at the McCoys as they were trying to retreat and leave from the scene.
Your Honor, your report.
Yes.
Detective, you previously testified that Mr. Ivory wasn't able to confirm who shot at his vehicle. That's not true, is it?
No, that's true, because at the end of the result of the investigation, the photograph that he gave me was not the individuals who was involved.
The question was, you previously testified that Mr. Ivory did not confirm who shot at his vehicle, correct?
That is true. After the investigation concluded,
That was you previously testified that he could not identify the individual.
again, after the investigation was concluded, it clearly shows that he was not able to identify him.
Okay, I understand your explanation, but will you answer the question she's asking and then give your explanation?
Yes, ma'am.
You previously testified that Mr. Ivory did not confirm the individual who shot at his vehicle.
That is correct. And also, at the conclusion of the investigation went forward, it was clear that he was not able to identify him. So that is correct.
Isn't it correct that he was conclusive when he told you who shot at him?
That would be an inconclusive assumption on my part to say that anybody's conclusive because we need evidence to back up what they're saying.
Was he sure?
It does call for speculation.
When he told you he saw the individuals who shot at him, did he tell you think so?
Yes. Give context on what he stated, though. The photograph that he gave me that he received from the internet with the circles already circled.
I didn't ask him about a photo.
Okay, but didn't we do that before the break?
My question to him just now was not about a photo.
Okay, well, you may ask your question.
When Mr. Ivory told you that he saw who shot at him, he told you that he saw who shot at him.
Yes, but the only time he stated that is when he gave me the photograph already circled.
Okay, that's an answer.
You've seen these pictures before, correct?
Correct.
Those are pictures that people, correct?
Correct.
Are they true and accurate depictions of the pictures that you pulled?
Yes, they are true.
Your Honor, I've given the witness what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 3, 4, and 5. I would like to introduce those photographs as evidence.
Okay, do you know what those exhibits are? Do you have any objection to them?
No, Judge.
Oh, okay, they're admitted. And you can publish.
Can you tell us what you see in Defendant's Exhibit 3?
Yes, in this photograph, it's the vantage point from the BP gas station. I believe what the attorney is referring to is the three black males dressed in black, dressed like bounty hunters. They're in the top left-hand corner at the gas pump. It looks like they're posing for the photograph.
Can you look at Defendant's Exhibit 4 and tell us what you see?
It's going to be 1 minute later from that photograph. It's the same individuals placed to the left. It looks like the exact same photo.
And Defense Exhibit 5?
All right, so this time frame is going to be at 9:29, so it's going to be about 40 minutes past that previous two photos you just showed me, and it looks like I have suspect number 2 in that photograph from that vantage point.
You see anybody dressed in all black in this picture?
I do see someone dressed in all black, but they don't look like the other individuals dressed in black.
Do you know when you pulled those pictures?
Yes, it was the exact same time I was going through the video, and what made me zero in on the photographs is, of course, the way they're dressed.
But you didn't put out these pictures when you did your flyers that you were passing out, the 400 flyers. You didn't put those in your
That is correct. I did not put a bolo out because that is almost a full hour before, and they are not at the barricades.
You just told us that one of the pictures had time stamp at the bottom, correct?
Yes, I believe the first photo that you showed me, I believe the time was 20:55. The second photo was 21:29, I believe.
At 21:29, it's less than an hour.
So that particular photograph that you're talking about identifies somebody that's in black, but they don't look like the other individuals that's dressed like bounty hunters and dressed in all black. They just wearing all black. It look like they're wearing some type
That
of.
is within an hour.
I would just ask if he be allowed to finish his answer, and if also counsel could direct the state, we don't have to really see what photograph she was referring to as far as the defendant's
Your Honor, these photographs were just provided, 3 photographs.
I'm just saying the number. It was 3 photographs. I just don't know.
It'd be helpful for the record if you said what number you were looking at when you showed it.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, in regards to the witness's answers, every answer provides a detailed description not associated with my question.
Okay, so again, answer a question first and then explain.
Yes, ma'am.
Earlier on direct examination, you were given some envelopes that had some evidence in, correct?
Do you know what specific envelopes you're talking about?
They had shell casings.
I was never given envelopes for shell casings.
Okay. So, you know what happened to the evidence that was collected from the scene?
Yes, when the crime scene techs collect the shell casings, they document them, they collect them, and they're sent off to the GBI.
How long did you got given?
That depends on the GBI. There's no time frame when the GBI can process evidence.
But you didn't keep those shell casings, did you?
No, I don't collect the evidence personally. I'm not responsible for storing them. Our crime scene techs collect evidence and store them.
The video recordings that you collected as a result of this case, you downloaded those and kept them, correct?
Correct. So the video recordings were recorded and given to me, and they were uploaded. Correct.
You testified on direct about some shell casings and what type of firearm they could be fired from.
Correct.
Isn't it true that there are 5 types of weapons that can fire a 5.56 and a 2.23?
I'm not aware of any other types. I'm not a firearm expert. I am aware of those. AR-15 can fire a 5.56 and a 2.23. The extent of my knowledge does not go that far.
Does the extent of your knowledge extend to how an M16 or AR-15 actually fires?
No, that question that you're asking about comparing an M16 and an AR-15, I don't know, have no knowledge of the comparison of those type of weapons or the mechanics on those type of weapons. I'm not qualified to even try to answer those questions.
So you're not qualified to answer questions about muzzle flashes either, are you?
That's incorrect.
Okay. So you would know that a muzzle flash isn't seen from every firearm.
That is incorrect. If there's some type of modification on the firearm, like a muzzle suppressor or some type of suppressor, that may suppress a muzzle flash, but it's clearly seen that when we look at this weapon, there's no muzzle flash suppressor or anything on that weapon.
And the number of people that were out there on July 4th with firearms, you don't know who had suppressors or muzzle flashes on their firearms that would prevent you from seeing that on camera.
I can only testify to what I'm seeing on camera.
So is that a no? You don't know how many people had muzzle flash or muzzle suppressors on their firearms?
I cannot.
The question is what he knows. If he doesn't know, then he doesn't know.
I'll allow the question.
I cannot confirm who had those type of suppressors on what weapon.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to publish State's Exhibit 2, which is the surveillance footage from 100 University, I believe it is. It's already been admitted into evidence. The first camera 2. I don't remember what number you.
Are you playing it, Mr. Regis, or are you asking them to
Mr.
play?
Regis is playing it.
He's going to play. Okay. Okay. They thought you were asking them to play.
Oh, no.
And I'm ready.
Okay. What's the exhibit number?
State's number 2.
States 2. Okay. Not popping up yet on the Zoom. Is it on your screen? Are you looking at it? It is lying to you.
I mean, we're happy to help you out.
Can I play it back in? And you should like bounce back. Shut it this video.
Does that connect to an HDMI cable?
Yes.
Should be working. Okay, no, it is. It is on mine though. Now they'll put it up on the big screen. It's in the Zoom now.
Back it up.
That's fine. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And Detective, while we're watching this video, do you see smoke in this video?
Yes, it appears that there's some sort of cookout.
Do you see children in this video?
I don't see children. I see people, smaller adults, that if you can say they're children, but I can't say that they're children or not.
I think only Mr. Abadi knows that.
I ain't got that many steps in there.
The person at the top of the screen.
Can you point to it again? I see, yes, what looks like a person on the other side of that vehicle.
What color is that person wearing?
It's like a bright, maybe orange, red color.
Can you circle that person?
Did you want the circle to go away?
That's a go. Do you have any idea what time these people arrived?
No idea.
You watched hours of video. Did you see a sign-up sheet for people to show up? Or did you see anybody sign again, like a check point or anything like that?
I did not see a sign-up sheet from the video.
There were no tickets or any RSVP that people had to do to come out to this event. Can you walk through?
I did not see any RSVPs or sign-up sheets from the video.
So this gathering was open to the public, correct? Anybody who wanted to be here?
Do you know about the particulars of who was allowed to come and who was not allowed to come?
I know the particulars, and if you got into an autonomous zone, you need special permission to get past the barricade, and you need additional permission to go in certain areas of the barricade.
Okay.
Sign-up sheets and things like that, I'm not aware
You
of.
don't know the logistics or why
No,
people were allowed in
ma'am.
or not?
No, ma'am.
See this person here?
The person you're pointing to?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you circle that person? What color is that person wearing?
It appears to be a red.
That person wearing shorts?
Which person are you referring
The person
to?
you circled.
No, it doesn't look like. The first person that you had me circled, like a tall white male, he's wearing red shorts. This person right here, I can't tell.
See the person outside the circle, right next to your circle?
I see an individual there too.
What color is that person wearing?
Looks to be a red.
The person here.
Yes, that's the first circle that you had me circle. That's the look like a tall white male with red shorts.
So
I don't live in public house.
you circle the people that you see wearing red. So multiple people at this location have on red outfits that you can clearly see.
Yes, but they are nowhere near the barricades.
Go back, please.
Incorrect. I see people going towards the vehicle, trying to stop the vehicle.
So in terms of individuals trying to get out of the way of the vehicle. No. So that video right there, where's cause? Individuals at the car, right?
Correct. I see individuals walking towards the car as the car is coming around the barricade.
And you can't see the color of that vehicle at this angle, can
No, the only thing you can see is a dark colored vehicle.
you? And where we are right now, you can't see any colors of the individuals, light skin or dark skin.
At this point, no, but once you track the individual suspect number one from the other vantage points, I was able to keep an eye on him all the way through and to the point to where he is at that location right now.
But you can't see any, like we can see the red at the top, but we can't see any colors definitively. Next, you can't see the color of the vehicle. You can't see reflections.
That is correct. The only thing you see is movement. You see suspect number one emerge from behind the stick, the pole with his AR-15 raised. Him and other individuals walk towards the vehicle as it's coming around the corner.
You don't know the names of the individuals that are standing at the barricade?
No, I do not.
You see the flash at the top of the screen?
Can you point to the flash? That's the light.
Right. I just wanted to draw your attention to it.
Okay.
So you can't see the clothing of the individuals standing by the light, can you?
What individuals? You have to point them out to me. What individuals are you referring to?
Do you see any individuals near the light up here?
No, you can't see anything over there.
So if there are individuals standing there, you can't tell who they are or what they look like.
That is correct, nor can I confirm if there are any individuals over there because I can't confirm or deny if there are any individuals over there by the light.
But you can see cars over there, correct?
Yes.
You see an individual standing next to a barricade, don't you?
Can you rewind? Which individual are you referring to?
Well, hold on for just a minute. You see the orange barricade?
I do.
You see an individual next to the orange barricade.
Can you press play? Because it's distorted right now. Yes, I see an individual. It looks like he's one of the individuals that's picking up shell casings. After the shell casings, after the shots went off, a couple of individuals walked over and picked up shell casings.
The individuals that picked up shell casings, they weren't wearing red, were they?
The only person wearing red at the barricade was suspect number one.
Okay, ask your question again.
The person picking up shell casings is not wearing red, are they?
No, the only person wearing red at the barricade was the suspect number one. The individual you're pointing to, yes.
You circle that person. That person is wearing a red shirt with white writing on the front, aren't they?
I can't confirm this subject is wearing white letters on the red shirt. This subject appears to be about a much taller than suspect number one, maybe 100 pounds heavier. I can't confirm what letters are on that red shirt.
Okay, re-ask your question.
The person standing there inside the circle is wearing a red shirt with white writing. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. I cannot confirm if that shirt has white letters on it. I can tell you that it's red. The person is wearing red, but I can't confirm white letters.
And that person is not standing near the lights that you pointed out on the other side of the screen, are they?
And which person are you referring to?
The person that you have circled here.
No, that person that circled is nowhere near the barricade.
And we won't see anybody sweeping any shell casings on the video, will we?
No.
Your Honor, the video was stopped at 9:47:26.
Thank you.
Your Honor, we are restarting it.
I see a blurb of someone that you're pointing at. The circle the person you just pointed at?
Yes. That person is wearing a red shirt with white lettering on the front, correct?
I disagree. Whatever that person is wearing is reflective. I can't say with any conclusion that that's a red shirt with white lettering.
Can you describe what they're doing?
They're crouching down. That's what it appears to be.
Did you talk to those individuals?
I did not identify those individuals, so no, I was not able to talk to them.
But from your experience as a police officer, that would indicate that something is happening at this time, correct?
No, that would indicate that it doesn't need to be a lot more context on looking at the video and making assumptions. Something is happening, but what is happening, unsure, because on video we see the shooting is over.
So, you said you watched hours of video. Did you continue to watch video after the video that we just saw that ended at 10?
That is correct.
The information that you provided with regards to what you saw on this video, did you document anything after 10 p.m.?
Anything that was documented was relevant to the case, it would have been documented.
Is that it?
That's correct.
A yes or a no?
No, if it wasn't relevant to the case, it would not have been documented.
All right, at this time, I would like to play camera 3 from 100 University. It's the same.
Still exhibit number 2, but it's that view.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for being so clear about what exhibit it is. Not yet, but it takes a minute. Once it pops up here, then we can. It's here.
Detective, what are we looking at?
So, as I described earlier, that's going to be the east barricade. That's the barricade facing east.
And you watched this video as well, correct?
That is correct.
What do you see at that barricade?
I see 3 individuals, see a truck that's parked, and I see them guarding the barricade.
And the 3 individuals that you see, they're wearing all black, correct?
That's correct. 2 are wearing black and 1 is wearing white.
And they're carrying rifles, correct?
It appears to be.
You didn't try to identify them either, did you?
That's incorrect. I tried, however, I was unsuccessful.
You didn't put out any flyers with their pictures on it, did you?
That is correct. I was not able to see their face.
Detective, you see 3 individuals in all black standing at the barricade, correct?
At this point, yes, there are 3 individuals in all black at the barricade.
You also see those individuals wearing tactical vests. Is that correct?
I can't confirm if they're wearing tactical vests, but they definitely are wearing all black.
Those individuals match the description of bounty hunters?
I would think that's a safe assumption, yes.
And Secoria's parents drove past this barricade, correct?
That is correct.
Isn't it true that Ms. Turner told you that they were halfway through the barricade when she started hearing her daughter call for her?
Yes, after the shots had started going off, of course, everybody was scared and jumping around. She described Secoriea in the backseat jumping around trying to avoid it. She turned around. Secoriea yelled, "Mama," screamed in pain. At that point, Charmaine jumped in the backseat with Secoriea. And then she looked up in the rear of the vehicle and was able to see what she described as the description that she gave me.
Which is?
She stated that she remembered seeing a male dressed in all black, and that is corroborated with the video evidence that I have.
She told you that male was firing.
Correct. She said she saw 2 males shooting.
She didn't say in a red shirt, did she?
She did not give me a description of a red shirt that was shooting. She just said 2 males were shooting. At that time, her attention was diverted to her daughter, who at that time was dying from a gunshot wound to the back.
So Ms. Turner says that she halfway through the barricade. Where would you say? You say halfway through the barricade is where this truck is?
No,
Okay. When did you measure the distance between one barricade and the next?
there was no measurements between barricades.
So you don't know what halfway between the barricade would be?
No, I disagree with her, with your statement, your assessment of the statement. She was halfway between the barricade when she noticed that.
You just testified that that's what she told you.
Correct. As soon as the bullet started hitting the vehicle as she drove by suspect number one, that's when she started to react. And when she soon jumped in the back seat with Secoriea as she was suffering from a gunshot wound.
So she told you her daughter called for her halfway through the barricade, correct?
Again, Ms. Turner's statement is that as they drove by, her vehicle shot multiple times. She heard her baby in the back seat jumping around trying to dodge.
Okay. Can you ask a more specific question?
Ms. Turner told you when she heard her child scream for her, she was halfway through the barricade. Yes or no?
No, she stated that when she heard the gunshots, gunshots hitting the vehicle, she jumped in the back seat with her child.
So the recording that you made where she told you that, did you listen to that?
I did, but I think you're taking that recording, that statement out of context.
So she did tell you that.
How can she know what's halfway between barricades and she didn't even know there's the other barricade at the other end? That's taken out of context her statement. Her statement is what it is. The gunshots hit the vehicle, she jumped in the back seat with Secoriea, looked up, 2 people was firing.
Turner was at the incident, correct?
Correct.
Is this individual here?
Yes.
Check that person, please. What color is that person wearing?
Looks like that young lady is wearing red.
The people at the first barricade, you see them?
No.
Well, you can't see what color they're wearing, okay?
As I stated before, because of the light shining,
Now responsive. You cannot see the color that the individuals at the barricade, the first barricade over.
no, not from this vantage point.
You can't see the color that the individuals are wearing at the first barricade. Can you?
That is correct.
vehicle here?
Which vehicle? The white vehicle, yes.
Circle the person standing there.
The person walking towards the vehicle? Okay, where your finger's pointing?
What color is that person wearing?
Appears to be dark clothing.
Black, correct?
Can't say it's black or not, but it's definitely dark clothing.
You can also see that that person is carrying a rifle, correct?
That's incorrect. I can't see that from that angle.
The vehicle, with the headlights on, that's Secoria's vehicle, correct?
Correct.
It's up on the curb, correct?
Yes, it's going up on the curve.
Which means it's tilted, correct?
Yes, it's tilted as it drives up on the curve.
You make a barricade?
Which barricade are we referring to?
Here.
Yes.
Circle that person.
The person you just pointed at.
Yes. What is that person wearing?
Dark clothing.
Black clothing.
Dark clothing. Less dark clothing.
The individual that you circled, that was inside of this circle here, circle that person now. That person is wearing all black, correct?
He's definitely wearing dark clothing. I can't confirm if he's carrying a rifle or not, but he's definitely wearing dark clothing.
That person has something in their hand, correct?
I cannot confirm if that person has something in his hand, but he's definitely crouching down wearing dark clothing.
You said you firearms before?
That is correct.
You fired a rifle before?
Yes, I have.
Under what circumstances?
Practicing.
You always stand in the same position when you fire a rifle?
Practicing, yes.
So the position that this individual is in at the bottom of the screen, what does it look like that person is?
That looks like that person is crouching down from shots just being fired from suspect number one as he fired upon Secoria's vehicle as he drove through the barricade. And he's ducking down for cover.
Look at that person again. That person is the same person that was standing at the barricade, correct?
Correct.
That person that was standing at the barricade was carrying the rifle, correct?
As I stated earlier, I could not confirm what that person was carrying, but he definitely was dressed in all black or dark clothing.
So we're looking at him again here. So, you've seen an AR-15 before. You know what type of ammunition an AR-15 can fire. But you can recognize an AR-15 on screen.
I'm advising that I cannot recognize from this portion of the video the way that person looked or what they're carrying, just that they're dressed in black.
people at the first barricade, what color are they wearing?
If we're referring to this vantage point, I can't tell.
So, at the point that, how many times did you say you watched this video?
I can't give a accurate number.
Did you watch it before you got the medical examiner's report?
Again, the medical examiner report came a good time afterwards, so I was only able to watch video, but I got enough information from the medical examiner to proceed with my investigation.
So let's talk about when you conduct an investigation, your goal is to try to figure out what happened, right?
Absolutely.
You have multiple people at a location. You have to narrow down who was involved, correct?
Correct.
And the autopsy report is typically used to determine what happened, correct?
Incorrect. Autopsy report is ruled the cause and manner of death. Usually the cause is what caused the death and the manner of death, homicide, and detailed report of the injuries. We are the reporting agency. We report what happened.
Okay. And how did you use that autopsy report in this case?
A 5.56 round was taken from 8-year-old Secoria's back. I was able to corroborate and match that with the type of ammunition that was found on the crime scene.
And that medical report, it tells you what direction it came from, correct?
Correct.
It tells you what the path that round traveled, correct?
Correct.
But you didn't have that information when you watched this video, correct?
Incorrect. He had a defect to the back. That's what I needed for my investigation.
You didn't have the medical examiner's report telling you the direction of travel when you watched this video, correct?
Again, it's incorrect. I had information detailing that Secoria was shot in the back.
The information that you had didn't come from the medical examiner's report.
I'm sorry, you asked me a question?
The information that you had didn't come from the medical examiner's report.
What information are you referring to?
The trajectory that the round that hit her in the back traveled.
Again, the medical examiner report stated that she was shot in the back.
What was the trajectory of the bullet that hit her in the back?
Straight in the back.
It doesn't say whether it went right, left.
So if you're asking me to get into the medical terminology, once a round goes inside a body, I'm not qualified to do that. Rounds, when they hit a body and it goes inside a body, they do bounce around. So again, having trajectory on that is different. So it hit a bone and started bouncing around, especially around that size. You see rounds all the time. When it hits you, they bounce around in your body and cause destruction. So trajectory, once it's inside the body, is irrelevant. What's relevant to me is that trajectory going into her back.
The medical examiner's report will tell you at what angle it went into her back, correct?
The medical examiner report will tell me the direction that it hit her in the back, and once it got inside of her body, what it did. And that's what the medical examiner report details.
So what did that tell you?
Again, I'm not qualified to speak on the medical terminology inside the medical examiner report. I'm pretty sure medical examiner themselves are going to come here and talk about the actual report.
But I'm asking you as a lead detective.
The lead
It is calling for an expert opinion.
Your Honor, I'm actually not asking for an expert opinion. I'm asking him for what he read. He's a lead detective. I'm asking him for what he read.
Okay, well, the autopsy report is not in the record yet.
Correct. And so I'm just asking him what he knows about what happened.
Okay, I think he's already answered that.
Okay. So with regards to determining, with all of these moving parts and all of these individuals that were at the location, the only thing you had was what you got from the scene, because you didn't watch the video before you collected the evidence, correct?
That is correct.
You didn't have any medical information.
Is that a question? That is correct. No medical information at the time of the crime scene investigation.
You did have descriptions of what the shooters looked like from people who were actually on the scene, correct?
That is incorrect. On the crime scene, like I testified earlier, there was zero cooperation coming from any individual out there on that crime scene. So I didn't got any statements from anyone at that crime scene.
Jerrion Turner and Omar Ivy were at that crime scene.
Charmaine and Omar was interviewed after the day after. I had already cleared the crime scene. It was later on in the day when I interviewed them. They were not interviewed at the crime scene.
You interviewed them after the fact, which gave you more time to look into what they told you. And they told you, both of them, that the shooters were wearing all black.
Correct.
The individual standing in the middle of the street in all black. You didn't track that person in your investigation, did you?
Can you point to that individual you're referring to?
Sure.
Okay. Are you referring to this individual?
Yes.
No. No one was identified from the crime scene. Nobody.
You didn't track that individual from this video. You didn't actually answer the drum.
You can follow up on that.
Was identified. That's not what I asked.
You can follow up.
The only person that was tracked was suspect number one, wearing all red, white letters, light blue shirt, black satchel, AR-15. That's who I tracked from every angle, from every camera, up into the shooting.
Let's watch that individual. Isn't there a cut through that you described, at least from this location straight to the BP?
I believe that the cut through that you're referring to, that's in the BP parking lot, and that is a walking path, I believe. Correct.
And by cut through, that just means that the person can go from where they are here through on a walking path and end up at the BP.
No. The cut through starts at the BP and goes to the plaza next to it.
And the individual can access the cut through from the open area here,
Here where?
what we're looking at.
Can you point to that exact location?
Is it possible to access the cut through from this street?
No, I would just ask maybe because we can't see what she's pointing at, like maybe she will go big.
Will you walk up to the big
so we
screen?
can actually see what's happening.
Can you access the cut through from anywhere on that street?
I'm not aware of a cut through from that street.
Okay. Tell us how you can get to the cut through from this, from here.
Again, I'm not aware of a cut through from this location that she's pointing to. The only cut through I'm aware of is coming from the BP.
So we're watching the same video again, and this time I'm going to focus on the person.
Okay, we're focusing on the person that was ducking for cover.
The person that's standing at the second, that was standing at the second.
Okay.
Were you able to see that individual run into the woods?
Yes, I was able to see that individual ducking for cover and ran into the woods after ducking for cover.
Where do those woods lead to?
I have no idea.
And you didn't track that individual.
No.
So the number of individuals that were standing at the barricade, dressed in all black, carrying rifles, that ran off into the woods after this happened, you didn't track those people and you didn't interrogate them.
Which barricade are you referring to?
The one we just watched at the bottom of the screen.
Again, no.
This was a very involved case, correct?
Absolutely. It's one of the hardest cases I ever had to work to this day.
And all eyes were on this case from the beginning, correct?
Correct.
You had council people, even famous people like Tyler Perry trying to contribute to finding out who did it, correct?
If you're referring to the contribution of the funds, I have nothing to do with that. I do not know who all contributed. That's a totally different process.
I don't think I asked about who contributed. If I did ask that, my question was basically about who wanted you to find out what happened to this case.
Do you have a specific person that you're asking me who, or just asking me in general?
Yeah, we had conversations about the number of people that were placing pressure on you on this case.
That's incorrect. I never said that anybody was putting any kind of pressure on me to solve this case, not once.
So you weren't aware that city council people came down to participate or to talk to the people that had been in this area?
I'm not aware, but there was no pressure coming from anywhere on my behalf or coming down to me. I'm not surprised. I mean, this case got national attention.
And with that national attention, famous people like Tyler Perry were involved.
He's already testified that he didn't even know that. So, do you have any other questions?
You interviewed Jerrion McKinney, correct?
That is correct.
And you provided him with images of individuals that you wanted him to try to identify, correct?
If you're referring to the screenshots from the video,
Did you provide him with images that you wanted him to identify?
I would like you to be specific. Are you referring to images from the video?
Did you provide him with images of anyone?
Okay, during the interview, he was provided with screenshots from the security video to see if he can identify his co-defendants.
He wasn't a defendant at the time, correct?
No.
You told Mr. McKinney that he would go down for this if he didn't give your name, correct?
Negative. That's a wrong way to rephrase it. If you have the audio recording that states that and quote that me verbatim, I would like you to play it.
Okay.
Context is important.
Are you asking to play the video recording of the co-defendant? Any objection to that? Or? I think if you want to refresh his recollection, you can do that outside the presence of the jury during the break. I don't think it can come in right now. I don't think there's a foundation for it right now. But if everyone agrees it should be played, I'll let you play it. Okay. Okay. You guys almost ready for a break? Okay, just a minute.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other question?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a few questions, y'all. Put up states 2 from the BP gas station. He's doing that. Take a shot. The men that had on all black men saw that pointed out to you. At any time, did you have individuals of their faces from the water bus, from the BP, from the American House?
No.
And in regards to the evidence in this case, where were the shell casings found on the scene?
In the street.
In the street.
It was in the area of suspect number 1 when he fired his weapon.
In states exhibit number 2, which is the BP gas station, 214106. Are you able to see that cut through that we were talking about by BP?
Yes.
If you could just use that red marking and kind of mark where that cut through would be. And is that, what's behind that, the pumps and everything?
There's a plaza next door that you can cut through and walk to.
Who's that is walking up, able to see that is walking up the side?
Yeah, it's going to be suspect number 2.
And then in regards to, I believe the defense was asking you about statements about they were halfway through the barricade when Secoriea was intervening, yelling out for her mom and thinking that she had been hit. I want you to look at statement number 2. That's going to be the warehouse video. I believe it's going to be the back camera. While that's happening, I think the defense asked you about having collected evidence prior to you getting the medical examiner report. Did you collect evidence prior to getting the medical examiner report?
That is correct.
As far as you know, what was the cause of injury to Secoriea before you even got out to the university?
Gunshot wound to the back.
So when you get out there, are you looking for evidence consistent with gunshots?
Correct.
And what was that mean?
Spent shell casings.
Is it feasible to, first of all, how long would it take you to get the autopsy?
It depends. That really depends on the medical examiner, how many they have in line and what they have on task to do.
1 day? 3 days?
I never seen it come back that fast. I would say between 1 to 6 weeks. It just depends.
Is it feasible to shut down the streets of University and Pryor for 1 to 6 weeks, waiting on that medical examiner before keeping collect evidence in regards to the shooting?
No, it is not.
Now we're looking at State's Exhibit number 2. This is from the warehouse, I believe, with back camera, camera 3. If you could circle where the front, it's kind of hard to see where the front barricades and those first set of barricades would be, where the Jeep first went over. And where the second set. And where was your suspect standing at as he was firing the shots into that Jeep?
I would say up in this area.
Is that, were they halfway through the front barricades, the shots were raining out into the car?
No.
When you say no, what do you mean?
No, they were not halfway through the barricade. It was, and as soon as they went through the barricade and passed suspect number 1, shots rang out.
And the defense was asking you about muzzle suppression. And you indicated that's kind of a legal thing that you do.
Definitely.
Was it?
That's not what it said.
What did you say about muzzle suppression?
First, I never observed any muzzle suppression devices on any of the weapons that I was able to view from camera.
And I think in regards to the defects on the car as it was coming through, how many were there?
8 defects.
And how many muzzle flashes did you observe on the video?
2.
How do you have to see 2, but then you have 8 shots?
Yes, so as Secoriea Turner's vehicle is passing suspect number 1, he is firing. That angle is not visible from the camera because it is hidden by the vehicle. As the vehicle passes, he continues to fire. That's when we're able to see the muzzle flashes. And that is consistent and corroborates the physical evidence we have, which is the defects that are on the vehicle.
Where is suspect 1 standing at the time of the fire?
And suspect number 1 is going to initially be standing behind this piece of wood here, and then he comes out as the vehicle's passing and fires as the vehicle's driving by.
Are you able to see suspect number 1 and what's up on the screen right now?
Yes, here.
Who's at the front?
Here?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's kind of blurry.
Okay.
Yeah. Where do we see those muzzle shots come from? If you need to back up and try to pause.
Yeah, if you want to, can you back it up? Here.
And if you could circle that first. Is it fair to say that the first set of barricades are kind of behind them?
Correct.
And what would the second set of barricades be?
It was about 20 to 30 yards further up.
And if you could circle, where were the shell casings that you recovered, the 5.56 shell casings in particular?
They're going to be along this area here.
Now, the defense showed you several people that were in the red. The first one that they showed you, was that a male or female?
It looks to be a male, very tall.
Do you see that individual that the defense showed you?
Yes. Here.
Can you tell if that's a male or female?
No, I can't tell, but it's a very large individual, about 100 pounds more than suspect number 1.
Has the shots that bring into that car and killed Secoriea already occurred?
Yes.
Do you see any muzzle flashes coming from the area where that person is standing?
No.
Pause. Where are the second individuals that defense pointed out to you?
This appears to be a very tall male with red shorts on.
Once again, any muzzle flashes coming from where that individual is?
No.
You can kind of on that. And I think she showed you a third group of people with red on.
I believe she was referring to this small individual here.
Based on their stature, does that appear to be an adult or a child?
It appears to be consistent with a child.
As the Jeep is passing through that second set of barricades, what would have been Charmaine and Omar's blind side?
Objection, Your Honor, second question.
As that Jeep passes through that second set of barricades, can you describe the last set of people that they would pass?
It's going to be this individual here that seems to be ducking for cover behind the barricade.
Did you see any other shots come from that area with that individual?
No.
And I believe they asked you about the trajectory.
Yes.
Right to left, right from the enemy's opinion.
Correct.
Is that in regards to what was going on outside the car or what's going on inside Secoria's body?
Inside Secoria's body.
Can two things be true at once?
Yes.
Can there have been men dressed in all black with weapons, possibly firing, and your suspect number one firing as well into that unit?
Absolutely.
Your Honor? Yes, sir. No reference.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. All right.
You swear upon the testimony to give the court the truth, the whole truth, so help you. Land have statements in my state.
Deputy Stephen Middleton, STEPHEN, MIDDLETON.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm well.
Can you tell the members of the jury how you are employed?
As it pertains to what, like?
Who do you currently work for?
I work for Fulton County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, and how long have you been with Fulton County Sheriff's Office?
7 years, going on 8.
Okay, and where are you stationed with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office?
I'm at the South Annex Jail
Okay, and where's the South Annex Jail?
in Union City.
Fulton County?
Yes, sir.
And how many jailing locations does Fulton County have?
Currently, not really North Annex, man. 3 currently.
Okay. And tell the jury what some of your job duties are.
Well, I'm on the strike team, which is the jail response team.
Okay. And when was the strike team created?
About 3.5 years ago.
All right. And what's the purpose of the strike team?
We're like basically SWAT for the jail. So we handle any kind of uprisings, riots, any kind of tours for high risk or anything like that.
Right. And what is a shakedown?
Shakedown is it's a focused search based on information that we get.
Okay. And can you tell the members of the jury how a shakedown is performed?
Yes, immediately when we enter, we open all doors. We tell everybody step out, line up against the wall. We do searches, and then we lead them out of the housing pods.
Yes, please.
Before we draw, my next question was going to be, can you tell us, Jerry, what is a pod?
The pod is the housing unit.
And how many pods does the Union City facility have?
There's 4 on each side.
What is the cell?
The cell is like a room, a housing unit. I mean, a room in the housing unit.
Okay. And who's housed inside of the cell?
The residence that's there.
Want to draw your attention back to August 5th of 2025. Was there a shakedown performed at the Union City location?
There was.
And what pods was involved in the shakedown?
All of the general housing units. So pod A, D, and E.
And were you involved in the shakedown?
I was.
And when you perform a shakedown, what items are you looking for?
Anything that the residents are not allowed to have. Any kind of contraband, like any damaged or altered clothing, cigarettes, electronic devices like cell phones or batteries from some of the tablets that they destroy. It's just anything that they're not supposed to have, wiring, stuff like that, shanks.
And back on August 5th, was there a shakedown performed on Pod E?
There was.
And Cell 12?
Yes.
Now, let's talk about Cell 12. Cell 12. How many people are housed in Cell 12?
Currently or then?
What's the minimum amount of people that can be housed in Cell 12?
1.
1. What's the max?
8.
Back on August 5th of 2005, was Julian Conley housed in his cell?
Yes, he was.
All right. And what was his bunk?
As soon as when you go into the cell, there's 2 bunks immediately to the left. There's 4 against the back wall, and then there's 2 to the right. His was on the back wall at the bottom left.
And when you performed a shakedown, what, if anything, did you recover from Pod E Cell 12?
I recovered 2 cell phones, 4 shanks, 2 charger cords, and it was something else, some miscellaneous stuff like screws from the light fixtures.
Okay. So you said you recovered 2 cell phones, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, let's talk about the location of those cell phones. Where was cell phone number 1 recovered from?
The first one was recovered from the left-hand side, the bunk, bottom bunk, all the way in the back corner.
Okay, and was this Mr. Conley's bunk?
Yes.
All right. I am approaching with what has been trademarked State's Exhibit 130. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 130?
I do.
And how do you recognize State's Exhibit 130?
By the color.
Are those the items that was recovered from E12?
One of them is.
Which one is?
This blue one right here.
All right. Your Honor, at this time, State tenders State's Exhibit 130.
No, we object. It sounds like there are multiple items in State Exhibit 130 that have nothing to do with why we're here. We can't allow all that.
Okay, can you be specific
Yes,
as to which
yes,
item?
yes. How many cell phones were recovered throughout the entire shakedown?
There were 3.
And once you recovered those cell phones, what did you do with them?
I handed them over to Captain Alford.
Okay.
And the blue cell phone that was recovered, you said that was recovered from whose bunk?
Conley's.
I'm sorry?
Conley's.
Do you see inmate Conley in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you please point and identify an article of clothing that he's wearing?
He's in the suit over there.
What color is his clothing?
Looks like black.
Is he sitting between someone to his left and his right?
Yes, he is.
Can you please describe the person on his right?
She's wearing a blazer with it looks like a plaid color, and a burgundy or maroon shirt and glasses.
Let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
It will.
Now, do you remember how many phones you recovered from E12?
Yes, there were 2.
There were 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember colors of those 2 phones?
Yes, one was blue and one was a reddish color.
I'm going to approach you with what's been labeled as states 130A, 130B, and 130C. Can you identify which two phones you recovered from cell E12?
This one.
Can you identify what's the number on the back?
130C.
And is 130C in the same condition in which you recovered it back on August the 5th of 2025?
Yes.
Have there been any material alterations and or deletions?
Or it's deletions, I can't tell, but no, it looks like in the same condition as I found it.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the state will tender 130C into evidence.
No objection to 130C, Your Honor.
130C is admitted.
And can you tell me to the jury how many phones were collected from E12?
2 phones.
2 phones. And do you know what the color was of the second phone?
Death of for Miss Turner.
Well, I was directly or indirectly, because I was a part of the after effects.
The after effects. Let me ask you like this. I apologize. Did you speak to any witnesses in regards to the shooting death of Miss Turner?
No.
Okay. Did you process any vehicles in regards to the shooting death of Miss Turner?
No.
Okay. Did you go out canvassing the neighborhood in the shooting death of Miss Turner?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you collect firearms or ballistics evidence in regards to the shooting death of Miss Turner?
No, sir.
No further questions.
Any regret? Ms. Wendy, you indicated that you participated in the aftermath.
So around that time, we were deployed to areas due to the increased violence because of what happened. So indirectly, I was involved in that.
Were you deployed to a certain area in regards to this case with Secoriea Turner?
Well, not Secoriea Turner, no. Everything going on at the same time, yes.
Did you play a part in, I guess, security and safety of the community?
Yes.
Is that what you're speaking of? When you said the aftermath?
Correct. That's what I'm specifically talking about. I'm sorry.
Thank you. That's fine. Nothing further.
I do have one question. Since now we know that you were out on the streets after the shooting, did Detective Shepard ever ask you to try to locate certain people that were on surveillance videos?
No, sir.
No further questions.
Anything else?
Oh, no, ma'am.
Can he be excused? Okay. You can be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, that's our last witness for today. We'll start again tomorrow morning at 9:30, traffic allowing.
All right, for the jury.